So welcome to Dream Tending 101 with Mariah Simpson. So happy to finally be doing this session after dreaming on it for many months. And I want to pull up our little presentation. I'll do that. And here we go. Okay, here we are. Welcome, everybody. We are here today with Mariah Simpson, who is a dear friend and colleague of mine. We went to grad school together, and since then, Mariah has been helping to tend my dreams. We took a dream tending course together, and Mariah went on to deepen into that practice and get certified. So she has been helping me to dream tend, which is the practice that we'll be talking about today. And it's been a very powerful practice for me. Before learning dream tending and working with Mariah, I was kind of journaling about my dreams here and there. And I would, wake up, write them down, sort of think about them and be like, oh, that was weird. And then go about my day and kind of forget about it and not really do anything with it. And I felt like I didn't have a very strong relationship to the dreams. It was just a little bit of an afterthought. And dream tending really helped me to connect with the dream world and with the dream figures and the messages and experiences I was having in these dreams. And later on, I worked with another colleague actually who did hypnosis with me. And some of the dreams were connected to past lives that came up during this hypnosis. So I started to see how the depths are so interconnected. It's like this whole web of psychic experience that is underneath the surface. And if I don't make the space to consciously go deep, then that stuff is all down there in the depths, acting underneath the surface and coming out through in unintentional ways, maybe through symptoms or through unconscious behaviors. So dream tending is so powerful because it really helps to illuminate what's going on in the depths. And so Mariah is going to be talking about dream tending today. And then we will talk a little bit about this Depths and Dreams journal that is being released today. Very excited about this. And then we'll do a demonstration. And we'll show you what it looks like in action to tend dreams, or to have a dream tender help you tend your dreams.
Cool. Thank you, Liberty. I'm with everything that you said about dreams and the depths. And like Liberty said, we were in our graduate program together in depth psychology. Currently, I'm working as an addiction counselor, helping folks in that realm to explore their own depths and the ways that their unconscious influences their life and their choices, which has been really powerful work for me. And like Liberty said, I'm a certified dream tender. I've been keeping a dream journal since I was about 12, and I've had recurring dreams and nightmares for as long as I can remember. So dreams have always been really important to me, and using this tool starting in 2018 when Liberty and I first took a dream tending course has been like life-changing for me and has helped me to work through a lot of nightmares and recurring dreams that I had, so that they're not sort of like disturbing me the way that they were and I was able to process and move through some big things. So every culture has its own history and tradition around tending dreams and practices related to dreams. I first learned from Steve Eisenstadt in our graduate program, and this is his book, Dream Tending. You can see on the slide. That was at Pacifica Graduate Institute, and he had learned dream tending from his great grandfather. So that is the lineage that I come from with dream tending. And in the certificate program that I took with him to be a dream tender, this was one of the books that was really powerful for me, which is Psyche Speaks by Russell Lockhart. And Russell Lockhart is just an amazing writer and caretaker of psyche, or I don't know what a better word would be for that, but he was also a mentor of Steve Eisenstadt. So some of the lineage there. I highly recommend both of these books if you're interested in this method of dream tending. So what are the most common dream themes? People tend to dream the most about sex, water, house or home, and falling. And could say a lot about that. Water, I think for most people represents emotion, the depths, turbulence. It's a very powerful force of nature. So when we have water in our dreams, that's a sign that we need to go a little bit deeper into our emotions, at least for me and for many people that I've worked with. House and home tend to represent the consciousness. So the upper levels of a house tend to be like higher levels of consciousness. And then like the lower you go into a house, like if you're going into a basement, or like I've had a dream, and a friend of mine have had a dream where we're looking down into like a big pit. That's like the unconscious. Falling dreams are another common one. We don't have to go into that. In the school of thought that I was taught, dreams are more than just symbols, they're alive. And so part of our work in dream tending is hosting those dream figures as if they were a guest in our home. And, you know, we don't interrogate them for answers. We get to know them. We make offerings to them. You know, like you have a guest come over to your house. Would you like something to drink? Would you like something to eat? You know, we're hosting these dream images. And so part of the homework that I give when I tend dreams is to make an offering a lot of the time to the dream figure and help sort of bring them into the waking world more. And that could be like drawing a picture, or doing something with your dream altar, or doing some kind of act to honor the dream or the dream image. So, and the body is always dreaming is a phrase that we use a lot in the school of thought that I was taught. And how that shows up in dream tending is, say I'm tending a dream for Liberty and they are touching their shoulder. That speaks to me that there's something there that I need to help them go deeper into that motion or that action and figure out what that's about.
Happened a few times.
Yeah. So another phrase that we say a lot is that psyche is always dreaming. The soul is always dreaming. So it's one way, I believe, for our soul or the collective soul, the collective unconscious, to communicate with us. So through hosting these dream figures, we are deepening our connection with both our personal and collective unconscious. We are making the unconscious conscious through the act of dream tending, and we're integrating parts of ourselves that maybe have been fragmented or suppressed. And a lot of the times dreams can help us to receive guidance. So with a little training, you can tend your own dreams using this practice. You can ask a friend or someone else to tend dreams for you or with you. And this is something that I offer. You can learn more about a session with me at dreamtending.com. And There are three main methods that I use in dream tending, primarily association. So that is, uh, if you have a dream about a snake, what does a snake mean to you? How do you feel about the snake? I think dream symbols and books can be helpful to sort of figure out, what the symbols mean to you. Um, if you're not sure how you feel about something, reading like, oh, this dream symbol book says snakes are bad and evil and scary, you'd be like, well, I don't agree. So it can kind of help you figure out what your associations really are. But I tend not to use dream symbol books anymore. So yeah, but naming associations with dream symbols can be really helpful for figuring out or for getting to know our dream images and what they have to tell us. Amplification is another tool, which is how your dream image relates to mythological characters or themes. I used this image of a minotaur because that was a recurring dream figure for me. It was a bull that could stand up on his hind legs and ended up being like a very protective figure. But tying that dream to mythology, it sort of it can give you more information about what's in the collective unconscious about this dream figure or about this figure, to give you more insight about what that dream figure might be trying to tell you. And honestly, I don't use amplification a lot. Association to me is a lot more personal. And then animation is the second method that I use the most, which is using active imagination to help explore the dream further and to retrieve details that you may not recall at first. You can talk to the dream figure, ask them questions, have the dream figure take you to a different location in the dream or show you something else in the dream. And that has been a really useful method that I found to working with dreams. One of the things that we do in this dream tending lineage is to give the dream figure a name. So like instead of the bull or a bull, I dreamed about bull, capital B, or I dreamed about raven with a capital R. And that makes it like you're talking to or interacting with a distinct figure, a specific figure, not just like a general bull or a general raven. I'm interacting with this specific visitor. So if you're interested in deepening into dream work, I highly recommend keeping a dream journal or finding some way to record the dream when you first wake up. I know not everybody is into writing, so some other options are to paint or draw the dream image when you wake up, or to have your phone so you can use a voice memo and record the dream. Those are all really good tools for helping you to start remembering your dreams more. And highly recommend this dream journal that Liberty created recently. It's amazing, beautiful, beautiful artwork and everything. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. Yeah. So here it is, holding it in my hands. It's real. It's this is the proof. I just submitted some updates, so it is extra current and beautiful, and added some bonus information and a surprise bonus page. So I'm excited for you all to experience this book. It has five main types of pages in it. So this is not specifically a dream tending journal. So although we are sort of releasing it today in companionship with this dream tending session, this is a more general dream journal for you based in your own lineage. So there's actually one of the bonus pages is a place for you to explore your ancestral dream lineage. So you can do some research into your ancestral lineage. If you don't know who your ancestors are, you can like make some guesses or, you know, research into lineages that you're attracted to, that you really resonate with. And then we have your typical dream page where you can record your dreams each night. Unlike some dream journals that give you like pages and pages for each day, this is really intended for you to record what were the dream images and like a little synopsis, so that if you do want to deepen into a dream, you can go back and have that information. There's also some little mood faces here, so you can record the mood that you had during that dream, or the the mood that you had upon waking. This is a depths, as you can see, it's a depths and dreams journal. So in addition to dreams that you have while you're sleeping, we're also tending to the dreams that you have while you're awake. So the, those brilliant ideas that kind of come in randomly. Like I had a whole novel idea come to me while I was sitting on the toilet the other day. Somehow the toilet is like a magical pot for inspiration. But yeah, there's weekly, oh, my little blur thing keeps blurring out. So here's weekly inspiration. So you have some places where you can talk about, curiosities, muses, interesting, strange ideas, affirmations. So affirmations are encouraging or empowering statements that we use to grow into a consciousness that we're trying to embody. And the reason why I included that in this journal is because affirmations will often trigger things that are lurking in the depths. When we are wanting to grow into a consciousness, it's because we haven't fully embraced that consciousness yet. And sometimes there's things that are holding us back. So when we write an affirmation, or attempt to say that affirmation out loud, there may be some resistance there. And that's a place where you can explore and deepen into what is some of that shadow there. I'm going to share 2 more pages and then I'll be done. So here's the sensations page. So that's another, sensations are another portal to our depths, and something that we pay attention to in dream tending as well is what are the feelings that we're having in our bodies. So there's a place where you can draw that out. And then we have a free write page where you can let any sort of nonsense or in ideas or stream of consciousness come out. And the intention is that you write without stopping, so that you can start to push through some of that resistance to knowing what's under the surface. So that's the Depths and Dreams journal. We'll talk a little bit more about it before we're done today. But
well, other than trying to cut you off with the affirmations, I was remembering that that's a tool I've used in dream tending too. Can be helpful.
You used affirmations in dream tending. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay, very cool.
Yeah. I used a physical dream journal for a long time, but because of the intensity of my dream tending certificate program, I started doing it in my phone on notes because my dream tending partner and I were sending each other our dreams every morning, and it was just easier if I could copy and paste from the notes app in my phone to WhatsApp and shoot her my dreams every morning. She's a really good friend of mine. She's an international business strategist with a depth psychology focus. So that was meeting her through the dream tending workshop has been such a blessing, and we tend each other's dreams almost every week still, even though we're done with that course. Just wanted to give a little shout out to her because she's the person who tends my dreams. Yeah, so if you're looking for an amazing dream journal, I would highly recommend this Depths and Dreams book. So now I'm going to move on to a dream tending exercise we can try at home. This is something that's straight out of Steve Eisenstadt's book. He has a bunch of different exercises in here for people to do to begin working with dreams. So if you're looking for more in-depth exercises, you could definitely check that out. So we're going to choose a dream image that gets our attention. And basically, we're going to start asking questions. What about it gets our attention? Write a detailed description about the dream with as much specificity as possible. So if I'm describing a dream figure, I'm going to describe like what they're wearing or what their fur or feathers looked like, or scales. I'm going to talk about their eyes, their energy, their vibe that I got from them. The environment, if it's hot or cold, what I'm wearing, what I look like in the dream, what age I am in the dream. These are all really important details. The position of the sun in the sky or the moon, or if, depending on what environment you're in, just describing it in as much detail as possible. Write down whatever associations you have with the dream image or dream figure. So like snake for me is femininity and power. It can be agility or flexibility. There's a lot of different, and maybe someone with a different background might see a snake as dangerous or scary. So these associations are really important for helping you to tend your dream and to understand yourself even better. Notice anything in the dream that brings up feelings or memories about your childhood. Write down any connections to the dream images or figures or dream symbols, any mythical figures that this reminds you of. So like bull for me is the Minotaur. Any characters that it reminds you of could be from TV shows or books, any archetypes that it reminds you of. And as part of the dream tending process, you're going to imagine that the dream figure character is in the room with you. And where would they be in the room? What would they be doing? How would they be interacting with you, with the space? Basically seeing the dream figure as a living being and notice it in detail. What impact does this dream figure have on you, or what reaction does it elicit from you? Like if I see bull, am I scared? If I see snake, am I scared or am I intrigued? Like what's coming up for you with this dream figure? So that's a fun exercise for you to try to start working with your dreams. And now Liberty and I are going to do a dream tending demo with you. Demos tend to take, or dream tending sessions tend to take about an hour. So I'm not sure how deep we're going to go with this one. We're just going to explore and see what comes up. So as part of the practice, I typically would light a candle. I don't have a candle with me right now, but I'm going to ask Liberty, what dream brings you here today, my dear?
I'm going to light a candle here for us. So
thank you.
I got you. Okay, so a little preface to this dream for folks who are watching. So Mariah and I have had a friendship since we were in school together. And the first winter that we were in school, I took a trip and I visited her in California. It was as part of my fieldwork exploration. And while I was there, she introduced me to a show called The Walking Dead, which I had never seen before. And I had not been a zombie fan before that. But I was awakened to the world of zombie shows. And I would say since then, I have explored a whole array of zombie shows and got really fascinated with the human fascination with zombies, with this sort of mythic creature that is also very real. That displays a whole spectrum of consciousness and wellness and illness that is very much alive in the human psyche, especially right now, the pandemic. And I watch zombie shows most nights of the week. I'm rewatching some, I'm studying some that I watched in years prior. And yeah, I think they're just brilliant. And so I watched an episode last night. I was preparing for this dream tending session, and it just so happens there was an episode about a character who was having a recurring dream. And there was a very vivid zombie in that dream that she was sort of battling. And she did end up going down into a basement in this dream and relived some trauma that she had experienced when the zombie outbreak first happened in this show. And she sort of resolved some of these traumatic episodes that she was having where she was blacking out and whatnot. So that is the precursor to the dream that I had last night. Yes.
Thank you for that context. So normally when tending a dream, I'll ask like what happened leading up to the dream, what was in your conscious mind, you know, what was happening in your life prior. So thank you for giving that context. And you also told us the dream took place last night. So that's really helpful information for me. And I guess what else has been going on in your world prior to this dream that you had last night? What's happening for you right now?
Yeah. So there's a lot happening. A lot of really good things happening, a lot of projects coming to fruition. I just got my master's degree. So like a lot of big feelings this past week, especially. And one of the consequences of having all of that going on is that I've put off my vaccination process until I felt like I could take the time to be unwell for a few days. And this past weekend, I had a sort of like a panic attack that coincided with some like pretty intense barometric pressure happening in a storm system. I felt like my lungs were compressing and I was having trouble breathing, and just had a very visceral, like unpleasant bodily sensation that was resolved. And that was leading up to, so the day, not yesterday, but the day before. And then of course also watching these zombie shows and sort of processing all these things through the lens of those shows and what the characters are experiencing. And then of course the pandemic happening right now. There's a lot of process around vaccinations, which are a very central theme to a lot of zombie shows, is people trying to heal from this collective illness. And I think that's very present for a lot of people, and a lot of anxieties around, do I get vaccinated or do I not get vaccinated? How do I get vaccinated if I want to? And am I going to have really negative effects? Is it really safe? All of these things coming up. So that's been pretty present for me.
Yeah, I think the pandemic is definitely something that's sort of the undercurrent for a lot of our dreams and driving a lot of our unconscious behaviors. So super important to acknowledge that. And it's been very traumatic for a lot of people, I think for most people. So I'm going to have you take off your facilitator hat now and just enjoy having a dream session.
By being vulnerable.
Yeah. So I'm going to have you close your eyes, take some deep breaths. Feel into your body. Bodily sensations are a really important part of dream tending since the body is always dreaming. Notice your feet and toes, ankles, calves, thighs, knees, hips, abdomen, stomach, hands and fingers, forearms, upper arms. Notice the chest, throat and neck, lips, cheeks, nose, eyes, ears, forehead, and top of the head. Acknowledging any tension or sensations that you're feeling in the body. Breathing space into those tense parts. Allowing yourself to drop in. And what dream brings you here, my dear? Telling it as if it's happening now in the present tense.
Okay. So the dream that brings me here has a few different parts to it. In the first part of the dream, I am in the process of turning into a zombie. So I'm human and I start to feel all these sensations in my upper abdomen here and in my face and my head, and I'm feeling like I want to like eat some flesh. And my partner is there, and I both want to eat their flesh, and I'm trying to keep myself from doing that. So I'm like actively trying to keep myself from turning into a zombie. So that's the first part. And then the dream progresses, and I'm in a compound, a specifically like a school or a university, in a safe compound that reminds me of one that's in one of the zombie shows that I watch. And there's students in that compound. We're hanging out, we're doing things together. I think we're having fun. And there's some drama that unfolds, some strange, like a mystery that unfolds. I'm not sure what was going on there, but at some point we escape the compound, which it feels like we're not supposed to leave, but we leave anyway. And in order to go on this journey, wherever we're going, we have to pass through a series of checkpoints. And they're down a mountain, these checkpoints, probably 10 of them located at intervals down this mountain, sort of like terraced. So we drive down to the first checkpoint, and the car in front of us, the people get out, they go into, it's like a checkpoint you would see at a border, like border patrol. And they get out and they go into this little building and they get vaccinated. They get a portion of a vaccine series. And then they get in their car and they keep driving, and we keep driving, and we don't get out of the car. And we go to the next one. The same thing happens. They get out, they go in, they get their vaccine. They get back in their car. We all continue to drive. And I sense that there's another car behind us with folks who are part of our group. And this happens a few times. And then I get out of the car, and I think I go into the building and I ask them, why aren't we getting vaccinated? Like, are you purposefully withholding the vaccine from us? Is it something about us that you don't want to give us the vaccine? Or so there's this sort of confusion and a little bit of like anger that comes up. that maybe we're being discriminated against. And I think I wake up from there. I don't remember anything after that.
Okay, fabulous. Lots to work with. Okay, so basically, it sounds like there's three different scenes in this dream. We basically treat them as if they're acts of a play. So there's the first act where um, you can feel yourself turning into a zombie, and I'm really curious about the bodily sensations there, and the desire that you're having in the dream to eat flesh. I feel like there's a lot of symbolism there that we can explore. And then we move to the next act of the dream, which takes place in this educational institution, and then the vaccination checkpoints. So we can kind of conceptualize it as three different scenes in the dream tending. So are you willing to explore the first act, or are you more curious about the other acts?
I am very curious about the first act. I'm genuinely terrified to know what is there.
And I also want to acknowledge like your vulnerability in doing this in a live session, with people watching. This practice we would call community dream tending, because it's open to such a big community of people. I want to acknowledge that it takes a lot of vulnerability to do this, and that if you feel uncomfortable at any time, you can say like, let's move on to the next act or something. So
That sounds good.
yeah,
I'm willing to do that.
boundaries, consent, all very important things to practice dream tending, especially in a community setting. So just modeling, this is how we would handle that in a similar setting. This demo is to help people be able to tend dreams, and if you want to tend dreams for other people, these are important aspects for us to talk about. So this is called what is this called? Transparent facilitation is what we're doing.
You're doing great.
You're doing great. All right, so let's drop back down into the dream. So I'm gonna have you close your eyes again and take a couple deep breaths. Okay. So you're in the dream. You're in a process of turning into a zombie. And can you describe the sensations that you're feeling in your torso, face, and head?
Yeah, the sensations are they remind me a lot of the panic attack that I described to you earlier, where my chest feels very tight and everything here feels tense, almost like it's solidifying, and like my neck is tensing up, and feel like my veins are gonna pop out or something. And I don't want to say aggression, because it doesn't feel like necessarily like that, but it's not exactly a hunger either. It's actually a sensation I don't know how to describe. In the dream, I'm it's like I am hungry for flesh, but it's not like a hunger because my stomach is empty. It's a different type of hunger I've never experienced before, that I suppose only a zombie can experience. Yeah, but I feel this like lunging, like there's like this impulse coming from my spine or something to like lunge at my partner, and then this counter sensation of my heart like pulling me back, like, no, you don't want to eat your partner. Don't eat. So I have this like tug of war happening in my body, and in my mind, where I I'm consciously trying to keep myself from turning like, no, don't turn into a zombie. Don't turn into a zombie. I want to stay human. I want to stay normal, in control. And the zombie part is not in control. It's like pure impulse.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to stop you there. I think I found a way down. Okay. So, but I'm going to have you describe the scene in more detail. So, you're turning into a zombie, you're feeling all these really intense sensations in your body, this urge to lunge at your partner, and then this counter urge of stay in control, stay human. Okay, so in the dream, what are you wearing?
Can't quite make that out. I know we're in a room. Feels like we're in a basement.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's reminding me of this one scene in The Walking Dead where a significant thing happens in a basement.
No spoilers.
Yeah, that's except that I think there might be like a whiteboard behind Dakota, my partner. So it makes it seem like maybe it's a classroom.
Okay. And what does Dakota look like in the dream?
Hair's down, so like long curly blonde hair, and dressed normally, t-shirt and jeans or pants.
Okay. And what is the vibe or the energy that you're feeling, either from him or from your interaction with him?
There's like, I don't know, there's like almost no lead up to this. It was almost like I dropped right into the moment of turning. And I think he looks confused of like, oh no, how do I help? He's a massage therapist, so he's like always trying to help make people feel better. But like wants to help, but is like, whoa, what's going on? Like, should I be worried? Is this something to be concerned about?
Yeah, and I want to call attention back to the association with the panic attack because that's something that happened recently for you. And you were telling me before the session, Dakota was like, not doesn't seem like really knew what to do to help you. So I think this might be a reflection of what happened there.
Totally.
Yeah, and okay, I'm gonna have you take a couple more deep breaths. And for the viewers, breath work is something that I have clients do to help them drop down more from their head to their heart or from their head into their body, to be able to take the dream into a deeper place. So that's what we're practicing now. Good. Okay. So we're in the dream, we're in this basement with the whiteboard behind Dakota. You're feeling all of these really intense sensations, and you have this desire to like protect your partner from what you're experiencing, right? So don't let me eat Dakota. Don't let me turn into a zombie. Let me stay human. And yet we can't deny what's happening in our body.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just going to have you breathe into that. And I think I'm going to call on some dream allies here. This is a technique that we use, especially in really intense dreams. That the allies can help us to navigate the dream world in a more effective way. So, a couple of Liberty's allies that I know of from past dream tending is Dragon and Daisy. Um, and I'm sure there are more allies that you have. So, when you close your eyes and you're seeing yourself there in the basement in the dream, what allies are with you?
Hmm. Oh, you know who was there in the dream last night? Not in this portion, but in other portions of the dream was Eli. He's my dog from many years ago, who is probably in his transition into ancestorhood right about now. But he's been on my mind, but he was there comforting me in the dream last night.
Awesome. And tell us more about Eli.
I've worked with Eli in dreams before, and tends to represent my anxiety. He was a very anxious dog, very sweet and attentive companion, who was very sensitive to anybody leaving the pack, very sensitive to emotion and malintent. He sensed that somebody was getting aggressive or anything like that. He would be very protective. He supported me and kept me safe throughout my hitchhiking days. Went on many adventures together.
It makes sense that he's showing up now. So I'm gonna have you close your eyes, drop back into the dream, and where would Eli be in the room?
When I'm turning into a zombie, gosh, I think he would probably also be very confused. Probably want to start attacking me, but not because he knows it's me. And he'd probably be right here at my side, to my left.
Okay. And the left side is a really important side for you in dreams.
Yes, on my maternal mothering side.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So Eli is there in the dream with you. Dakota's confused. You're very distressed about what's happening to you. And so we know Eli's superpower is sensitivity, sensing energy. He wants to keep the pack together. Um, and for you represents anxiety, right? So, um, what, I guess we can ask Eli, what would you like to do here?
Ask Eli what he wants to do. What do you want to do, Eli? What does Eli want to do? He seems like he's oscillating between wanting to attack me and wanting to protect Dakota and also wanting to comfort me. I think if I allowed myself to fully become zombie and attack Dakota, he would definitely attack me and try to pull me off.
Yeah. So in the past, how have you allowed Eli to comfort you? What like position do you take, or what behavior do you do to like engage him in that comfort process?
I would hug him. Yeah.
How would that feel to do in the dream?
Really nice. Yeah.
All right. So you hug Eli, and then what happens?
Mm, feel like he just like melted away, and I like the zombie part of me like melted away. And I'm younger. I'm like a kid. I don't know how old, but it was pretty instantaneous.
Yeah. What do you associate with being younger?
Family conflict. Um, yeah, maybe confusion.
Okay. The zombie part is gone. So let's take some more deep breaths.
Going into the depths, Mariah.
We're doing it. We don't have to go. But I do want to have you take a couple deep breaths and just acknowledge any tension that you're having in your body. What's coming up for you as far as bodily sensations?
It's like a headache. There's a headache thing happening here.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Okay. How are your shoulders feeling?
A little tense on my left side.
Yeah. Is there a movement that you'd like to do to sort of like move some of that tension out? I'll have you release your jaw. Something that I've learned in my new job working with addiction is that, like, when we repress emotions for a long time, sometimes they can come out in anxiety attacks, panic attacks, in anger, aggression. And it sounds like with all these big projects that you've had going on, like you've been holding it together, getting things done, and a lot of pressure, like what you were telling me about the storm system that was moving in the day that you had your panic attack.
Hmm.
um, and so like this could be how it's, choosing to express itself as like losing control, turning into a zombie. um, and so like I just want to like acknowledge that that's, likely what's going on for you and how it's manifesting in the dream. And
Totally.
yeah, and so like Dakota's not here. It's a dream, Dakota. We love Dakota. We don't want to hurt Dakota. But in the dream, I'm curious, you know, what would happen if you were to like express that instinct or that desire? Like, how could that move? And I chose to go a different way with Eli. Um, but let's go back to the dream and we can keep exploring what's happening.
Yeah, allowing the impulse gets weird fast.
You don't have to go there. You don't have to go there. But let's just go back to the dream. Zombie you is gone. Eli is dissolved as well. Eli knows what to do, knows how to comfort us. And now it's just you and Dakota in the basement. Take a deep breath for me. And what happens now?
Hmm. I feel like we want to sit cross-legged on a mat or something.
Okay, let's do that.
It's almost like everything else dissolves around us and we're back where we first met, out in nature and at a gathering. Feels a lot more peaceful.
Yeah, so it sounds like maybe the dream's desire is for you to connect more deeply, spend some time out in nature, maybe just the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else that wants to come through the dream, or what happens next?
Um, I just find myself being really curious what would happen if I did allow that impulse, that zombie impulse.
Would you like to go there now? We can do that.
You know what first happened was when I did allow that was almost like I consume him, but instantly like drop down into the ocean or something.
Mm,
Um, like transform into some other mythical creature, like a mermaid or something that can swim and breathe underwater.
ah, okay.
Cool.
Amazing. Okay, so start breathing. Let's do this. Um, all right. Dropping into the dream, consuming Dakota, and
Sorry,
then
Dakota. No offense.
part of our process. So then what happens? You transform.
Yeah. It's like a drop through the floor and then I'm in the ocean.
Okay. And what is the ocean like for you?
It's like cold. Like I know it's cold, but I'm warm.
Hmm.
Um, and it does feel like I'm some sort of fish or dolphin or something with like I don't have two legs anymore.
Okay. So, and these creatures know how to navigate the depths, right?
Yeah, it's really dark down there too. It's like I'm pretty deep. Like it drops down. It's not like I'm hitting the water and going in. It's like when I drop down, I'm already pretty deep in the ocean.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have you take 2 more deep breaths here. And what happens next?
Swimming around, I feel like I'm encountering different schools of fish and some sort of shipwreck.
Mm,
Yeah, there's some remnant of human, probably from colonial times.
mm. And what sensations are you having in your body?
Kind of fluid. The headache has relaxed and feels sort of flowy.
Okay. And what else do you notice about this place or this experience?
I feel like this like swimming motion.
Yeah, let's do that motion. I'm gonna have you exaggerate that motion and do it like several times. like we say, the body's always dreaming. So what
Mhm.
what opens up for you as you're doing this motion?
Going over to this shipwreck, going around it, checking it out. A little worried there's something in there that could hurt me. But very curious if there's any clues as to who the ship belonged to, what they
Yeah.
were doing.
Do we have any allies here with us?
Hmm.
Or any are there any other creatures around?
Yeah, the school of fish is nearby. I feel like there's probably an octopus nearby.
Really?
Um,
And where's the octopus in relation to you?
Sort of like back behind me, like on a little coral reef or something,
Okay.
watching this happen.
And what is your association with octopus?
Well, I have a, I mean, spider is a really powerful dream ally for me.
Mm,
So the eight limbs are significant.
hmm. Yeah, what's special about 8 limbs?
There is something special about that in relationship to Dakota and when we first met. So in this place where we met,
Mhm.
I was sleeping in an 8 limbed tree where, well, it was an 8 trunked tree, I guess. There's 8 different trunks that came out of this one base, and I hung my hammock up in the limbs. And that's where I was staying when I we met and we fell in love.
That's beautiful. And I know Tree from past tending that Tree has been a powerful dream finger for you as well.
Hmm.
So octopus is here in this underwater world representing spider and tree and your relationship with Dakota.
Hmm.
So what does octopus want to do?
The octopus is not as hesitant to go into the shipwreck. It's like, I think maybe wanting to be my guide into the darkness of that. The boat is like turned on its side, and there's like an opening. I could go into the hull of the ship.
Okay.
And yeah, I think octopus goes in ahead of me to check it out.
Okay.
And yeah, the scene is not pretty.
What do you see?
Um, there are human remains in there.
Okay. And what else you notice?
Um, Cargo, um, some like wooden boxes.
Mhm.
Um, it's possible that the humans were held there against their will.
Mm. Yeah. You said the ship kind of reminded you of like a colonial time.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
octopus. Go
I
ahead.
I feel like terror when I'm in there.
Yeah. And what does octopus do?
It's like embracing the bones.
Mm.
yeah, like wrapping itself around the bones.
Mhm. In a way, honoring the deceased.
Like grieving. And I feel really sad.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm really noticing the contrast between like the consumption of human flesh and the bones. Um, and I know because I know you that like eating a lot and stuff like that is a way that you cope with like a lot of pressure and stuff like that. Um, and so it seems like maybe the dream is offering you this alternative of like breathing, going deep, letting the emotions out, calling on your allies, and honoring the dead. I think death is something that's been really
Mm.
present with us through COVID and the pandemic.
I was just gonna say that this part feels like so connected to the vaccine part of the dream somehow.
Mm,
It's
yeah.
like collective grieving process that's happening.
Mhm.
Grieving the shadow of colonialism and the way that that might be coming up through illness.
Absolutely. And I think that like your resistance to allow yourself to lose control and become a zombie is like kind of your way of like holding it in. And basically like what we're learning from the dream is that like we need to call on allies and we need to go deep and let it out, and allow ourselves to lose that control and process those feelings and emotions, and to do it like in a safe, contained way, obviously. So, but yeah,
Mm.
I'm gonna have you take some more deep breaths. I noticed you were touching your chest, so
Yeah.
you drop back in a little bit. And being present with the grief, the collective grief that is so like in the depths of our collective right now.
Yeah.
Colonial trauma and all the ways that that manifests in our present day
Mm.
and has continued on.
Thinking about all of um, the therapists and social workers and people who've been caring for the mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being of the collective. Being one of those people.
Absolutely. I was just thinking that. I was like, I hope that Liberty acknowledges themselves. Yeah. So, what is the dream's desire? What can we offer to the dream and to this part of ourselves, to the depths, and to the grief? How would you like to enact this dream in the waking world?
Mm. Um, I have this book. It feels connected to the whole dream feels connected to the book because part of my anxiety is just like putting this out there is sort of like losing control. Um, in that same sense of like once it's out, folks are gonna have their own experience with it, and it's gonna be triggering to some people, and um, I can't control how people respond. Um, I think it's a gift, and I feel like something I could do for myself around it is create a feedback form for people who want to share their experience in a contained or anonymous way. Um, so I'm still having these impulses to care for people. I think something I could do for myself is refresh my dream altar.
Yeah.
That would be really powerful to do on this day of its release. And I have some inner child stuff homework from a prior dream tending that I haven't like fully followed through on. So I'm going to do that.
And I think spending time with water is going to be really important for you right now and for honoring the dream. And like the work that you did with the ancestor page on the book, like I think that stuff is coming up for you too. So doing something to honor the ancestors and
Yeah, absolutely.
be powerful. So are you ready to wrap it up?
I'm ready. Ooh, we didn't even get to the vaccine part. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, some dreams are
Bathroom.
like that for our viewers. You know, sometimes we just focus on one act of a dream in one session, and like this was, I think, really powerful and deep. So I think it needed that time and that space to go there. And
I
thank you,
agree.
Liberty, for being so vulnerable and for bringing in your allies and demonstrating like how a dream tending session can go. I think did a really good demo.
Ooh, I just had some inspiration. I'm gonna write down in this and on my weekly inspiration page uh around like, yeah, like a book or maybe a little something I could write about the experience of turning and yeah, the transformative power of turning.
Right, because you did transform in the dream, but into a fish or some kind of underwater creature that could navigate the depths without like causing harm.
Yeah. And there's this mythology or part of the mythology, some people's interpretation of the zombie is like people lose their soul when they turn. but
Mm,
but there's these other interpretations, these other shows that are exploring that spectrum of consciousness
mm,
of transforming into something else, but not necessarily something bad,
right.
something with a different set of superpowers, different insight, different sensitivities, which as a collective we sort of are as we go through COVID.
Yeah,
We have a whole set of new superpowers.
we've been kind
And
of going through like collective death in a way, like having to let go of old ways of being.
exactly.
And maybe the zombie kind of represents that transition phase where like parts of us are dying while we're still alive and still walking around in the world. I love zombie symbolism. Can nerd out about that forever.
I know.
Um,
Someday we're gonna write a book together, Mariah.
excited, but I just wanted to recap like some of the things that I did in the tend. So we covered dream context, breath work and bodily sensations, associations with liberty and what the different aspects of the dream reminded them of. um, and the whole time I'm looking for a portal to go deeper, which to me is like my own associations and things that I'm drawing on from past dream work of like, oh, this is like a really powerful image or this bodily sensation, and how can we take it further? So that's um, part of like the nuance of the practice that you'll learn over time through experience, allowing for silence. So I would pause a lot of the time and just allow liberty to be with their dream and whatever they're experiencing, and then allowing them to speak from what's happening for them. Noticing liberty's movements because the body's always dreaming. And then like that swimming motion really took us to like that next level of the dream. Calling on dream allies. So if you haven't explored dream allies before, I would start with like a figure that's been supportive of you in your waking life. So my first dream ally was my dog that I had growing up, Corona. And so she like helped me move through dreams in my first dream tending sessions. And then as I've cultivated like these protective or like super powered dream figures, my dream council of allies has grown, which is something that you can cultivate too. And we did a lot of animation in this dream. Like I adjust my dream taking session based off of who I'm working with and what works for them. So I don't always do that much dream animation, which is like following the dream characters and asking them questions and letting them sort of drive the dream, or having the dream allies drive the active imagination of the dream. But that was an effective tool for this one, which is why I used that. And then at the end, have given homework of like, how can you enact the dream in the waking world? What is the dream's desire? What is the dream asking for you to do? So yeah, that's what we did.
That was awesome, Mariah. As usual,
It's a pleasure with you.
It's always profound. Somehow you always pull it off. You always find the portal. Yeah. Yeah, and this work feels like it gets around defenses that otherwise I would have, just talking about it up here in my head and like analyzing it, and interpreting it, which a lot of people do with dreams or have, learned through popular media to do, as opposed to being really present in real time and like feeling all the feelings and like facing it, being with it. I do feel like I feel different in my body. And
yeah, I think because like I know you so well because of our history, and just another thing that I'm always looking for is when people start to get into their heads too much, I will always have them like take more breaths, or feel into their body to help bring them back into the like dream state of consciousness. Because like when we get too much in our heads, like we can't drop down and receive like the messages that we're receiving. So that's something that I'm always looking for, like when you're getting tense, or when like I'm talking a lot. If I'm over explaining, I will notice that the client will like lift up back out of that state of consciousness.
mm-hmm.
So that's like a subtle thing that I'm doing while I'm tending the dream, is trying to be aware of that. And I can usually tell like from someone's voice,
Mm-hmm.
if they're in the depths or if they're like coming back up. So
Interesting. It reminds me of hypnosis. Like it really taps into that. Yeah, just the energy feels like it's hard to explain other than saying it's like lower down. It's like deeper. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I try to adjust my voice too, which is something that I learned in yoga teacher training, was that like if my voice is like a lower octave and calm and relaxed, that will help the person to drop in too. And I think sound has a profound effect to alter our state of consciousness.
Absolutely.
Music and
The nervous system, and yeah, right. Hypnosis, that's kind of a central feature,
yeah,
is regulating the voice.
any kind of trance state, like a lot of trances, like journeying, involves drumming or music, which like activate, I think, perception of sounds that helps us go deeper.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh, so good. Well, Mariah, I'm just gonna mention this book one more time because this is now available. It's had its initiation now. And is available on my website, awakeningcreatives.com. You can find a link. I mean, it's right on the front page. You can find it. There's a new page that is called Publications, that has the dream journal and also has the liberatory care coloring book, and is ready to receive new publications in the future, which I won't give anything away, but for now, the dream journal is there. And wholesale will be coming soon, but for now, get one for yourself and check it out. It's a nice thick book. It is like the size of your average novel, and it's about 330 pages. It spans 52 weeks, but you can start it at any time. It's not dated, so you can date it yourself. You can skip weeks if you want to, and really creates a lot of space for your own process to happen. So go to the link in my bio and check it out. And did you receive yours yet, Mariah?
I think it might be in my mailbox, but I haven't checked yet. I'm really excited to start using it. And also, if anybody watching is interested in a dream tending session, send me an email, visit my website. Yeah.
Yes. dream-tending.com, right? Yeah. And I want to just mention a really awesome feature of this book. Something that is very unusual, I think, for a book like this is that it comes with a lifetime membership to our online community center. So Awakening Creatives Online Community Center is a community portal. It's much like Facebook, but it's private to us and only us. And it's our little nook of the internet where we offer various courses and whatnot. But the membership that you get gives you access to a private dream circle. It's called the Depths and Dreams Circle, and Mariah is our lovely host of the circle. I'll also be engaging there, and it's a place where you can go to share some of your experiences of using this journal and of tending your dreams and working with your depths. So it's you know, everything that we do at Awakening Creatives is intended to be relational. And, you know, we don't just produce things and services for you to consume. It's really about building community and deepening our relationships on our paths to liberation. So this is a tool for us to engage in that process. And I'm really excited to share it. Nervous and excited, but I think this dream tending session has helped me to like, all right, well, now I'm swimming in the ocean and yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I had a lot of fun doing this session with you. I'm so glad we got to do this.
Yeah, this is great. So this session is going to stay up on Facebook. Unlike some of our other courses that we take down, this is available. And if you come to the Depths and Dreams Circle in our online community center, you can also have access to the replay from this little mini session. So we will see you there. And thank you so much, Mariah. It was really great to see you bringing your gifts out into the public scene and to be seen. Because yeah, you've got the stuff, and I think folks need the kind of work that you're doing right now.
Thank you.
So hit Mariah up. I know I will. Okay. Well, take care, everybody, and we'll be in touch.